Hello guys, my name is Mzu Ntantiso. Hello Jenna Bass and hello to all the students. Jenna asked me to do a video concerning any part of acting, and I chose to do a video about the casting. I think it's one of the most important things that an actor has to go through. It's how we secure the bag, and it's exactly how we define ourselves in the jobs that we love. Casting at the audition, that's where it all goes down. And there are a couple of things that are very important, very easy things, but also very easy to forget if we don't pay attention to them. So I think, yeah, they'll be interesting to go through. So let's start. I think the first thing would be the introduction. Now you walk into a casting room, and obviously they're very different. Casting for adverts and casting for films. I'm going to be talking about casting for film, even though I'll touch on some things that concern casting for adverts. The introduction. You walk in, they say introduce yourself. Generally they want your name and your agent, and if they want your age, they will ask for it. So they'll say name, agency, and agent and age, and then you'll say what your age is, right? But generally speaking, for acting, I mean, they already know what age group they wanted, so they'll want your name and your agency. So hi, my name is Mzu Ntantiso and I am with APM, which is my agency, right? Then after that, they want to see your profiles. Now, the whole point of profiles is so that they can see how light hits you from the side, right? So profiles are you do your intro, then they'll say profiles, and then you turn to the side. So I often say do this, right? Move your head so that they can see your face from the side. Because the whole point of profiles is that they can see how the light hits you and what you look like from the side. That's the whole point of profiles. So you'll do the same. So profile on that side, turn, profile on this side, do the thing again, look forward again. Hands, they want to see your hands. Put your hands in front of your face. Put your hands in front of your face so that they can actually see your hands, right? And then show them the other side as well. I think that's just to see if they can, if you've got tattoos, how your hands really look, because maybe that affects something, and particularly for adverts, because that has to do with the product shot. Will they be able to use your hand or not? For acting, maybe not so much, but maybe they want to know. Maybe you don't have all your fingers, and maybe that makes a difference. Maybe it's something interesting. I don't know. Point is, that's how you show your hands. You put them in front of your face, and that's exactly what you do. And then when it comes to your let me just quickly see, I wrote these things down. Oh yeah, okay. Then the next important thing would be your clothing, right? I think this one is one of those things that we forget very easily. Walking into a casting, you can't be wearing a white t-shirt, just because most of the casting studios that we have got a white wall behind them, And what happens then is that when you're on camera, you sort of like kind of disappear, or it causes a problem for the camera. So white t-shirts generally are a no-no. And then t-shirts like what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing what I'm wearing on purpose to show you what not to wear, right? This, for example, you don't want to wear anything like this, because you don't want your clothing to upstage you. You want them to be looking at you while you're doing your casting, right? So a t-shirt like this, or a top like this, makes people want to look at the top. So half the time you're busy doing your thing and they're interested in your top because your top looks cool, or looks ugly, or looks more interesting, whatever the case may be. It takes away from what you are doing. So you don't want to wear anything like this. You'd want to wear a plain black t-shirt, a plain gray t-shirt, a plain green t-shirt. Try to go as plain as possible. So if it has labeling on the bit, it's not a problem. Or if you can do one with no picture, do one with no picture. But if you have pictures on them, try to make it as plain and boring as possible, so that your t-shirt does not upstage you. A hat is generally a no-no, right? Obviously, because you don't need a hat for any reason besides if your character is specifically asked to wear a hat. And if you are wearing a hat, then you wear a hat like I'm wearing it, in a way that you can still see your face and that it's not causing shadows on your face, so that they can still read you, see you, whatever you do, And then you, being the person wearing the hat, you do not want to be doing this in your performance, because then they can't see you. You want to, be conscious of the fact that you're wearing a hat, and then you want to always have your face visible. So you take your hat as high as it needs to be, so that your character is wearing the hat, but then you are not blocking yourself. So never upstage yourself with anything on you, because the casting is about you, and that's all that they really want to see. Also, when they give you a brief, try and dress as close as possible to whatever it is that your character will be wearing, right? Some briefs are very dress code specific and some are not. but also just try for yourself as well to dress close as possible to the character. It does help usually when you're not wearing your own clothes or the way you would dress, you know. It just helps you to feel like someone else. Even if it's your own clothes, try and mix them in a way you wouldn't wear them, you know. Something that will make you feel like this is not you, it is someone else. It really helps, which is why we have costumes. Once an actor puts on their costume, you embody the character. You can't literally wearing the character, and therefore it helps you to pull off the most amazing performance, you know, that you can be, because you're not you. So you divorce yourself from this person, and therefore you're not, you know, you're not busy judging yourself when you see yourself on camera, because it's not you. It's about the character and what the character looks like, right? That would be the clothing and what we're talking about. Then we'll move over to the acting. So obviously, there are things that are definite, you know, must, you know. You must be very prepared, obviously. You will get your script 2 days before or even the day before. Long and short of it is you just need to know that script forwards and backwards. You know, you must do your lines, you must prepare, you must know the scenes very well. It's also very useful to know the dialogue of the characters you are interacting with, because that also then gives you points, you know, for you to remember when your dialogue is coming, and also helps you to listen, because then you remember what you're responding to. So you can't just read your part, because what happens is you know, you're not listening to the other characters, and therefore you won't be reacting and doing the right thing. So it's useful to know what the other characters are saying. I mean, you don't have to study their dialogue word for word, but you at least need to get the entire concept of what they're saying, and then at least know the last bits of their dialogue, because that prompts you to get ready to deliver your parts, right? So that's an obvious, like prepare, 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 prepare. Also, prepare because sometimes you read a scene, right, at home by yourself, and what you are reading makes you feel that your character should be sitting down, right? And you prepare this thing at home, and you've been sitting down, or you're lying on the bed, or whatever it is that you decide your character will be doing. And then when you get to the studio, they're asking you to stand, and now all of a sudden your whole world has changed. But if you're prepared and you know your scenario, your dialogue, your character's space, your character's mood, where your character came from, what part we are in the story, then this is not too much of a problem, because you just have to adjust the actual position. You thought you would be sitting down, now you're standing, you know. So you'll take a few moments to just rethink of what you want to do now that you're standing, and then you'll be able to do that. But it is very important for you to prepare, otherwise you will not be able to make these adjustments, okay? So that's a very obvious one. Now, after all that is done, there are about 1,000, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe 100 of you that day at that casting for this one character. Now, you want to stand out, you know, and you want to be remembered, because you've got to be different in some way, and not just different in your look, you know. Chances are most of you look similar, because, you know, you're going for the same character, and they would have chosen all of you for similar build, similar look, maybe a beard, maybe whatever the hell it may be, right? Body type, height, skin color, whatever the reasons are. But you'll be looking somewhat similar to those people. So that's not enough to make you look different. And at this point, this is where I always say you got to engage some of your beautiful acting techniques. You know, there's small things that we have as actors that we can use as tools that makes us very different from the other people, and how we approach this casting. You know, the whole thing about a casting is about you offering as an actor. You know, what's your offer? What's your interpretation? What have you decided, and how are you going to be different from the other person, right? And of course, when you're preparing, you can't be thinking about the other person, because you don't know what the other person is doing. But more importantly, you've got to think about what you are doing. What are you offering? What are you going to be doing? You know, that's possibly very different from what someone else will be doing, right? So we've got small things like a double take. That would be a perfect example of a double take, right? You're looking, and you know, small things like that make all the difference, because now all of a sudden everybody's been delivering the same lines in the same scene, but nobody did a double take. Now you can do that for, you'll see in the script where it fits. You know, you've got a close-up shot where they're asking you to get very close to the camera. Most people in intense scenes tend to look at you know, if they're talking to a character, they want to look at both their eyes, you know. So you keep moving your eyes like this, you know, looking at the left eye and the right eye. Keep your gaze focused on the eye closest to the camera, because that makes it look much more intense. So I'll show you an example. So this is me looking at someone who's here on the side of the camera and being in an intense scene at you, right? That's not as intense as you imagine. You might feel like you are in the vibe, you're delivering the most intense performance you can think of, but just that takes a little bit away. But if you just focus on the eye closest to the camera while you're doing whatever, delivering whatever dialogue you need to deliver, then all of a sudden things change. These are the small techniques that you can use in a casting. Simple, small, and can be remembered. Involve your whole body. Use hand gestures, but in very specific places. Don't flailing your hands all the time and not remembering what you're doing, because even if they give you like 5 takes, there's certain things that you want to remember you did. So it's kind of cool to mark certain points for hand gestures. These are all your tools. Your body is your tool. Your knees, your legs, your hands, your face, the way it moves, your neck, your mouth, your breathing, your eyes. These are all the tools you have at your disposal, and use them, because chances are that will be the thing that will make you very, very different from the other people. I don't know what I haven't covered. Also, because you're nervous, and you will be nervous when you walk into a casting. It happens. It's natural. But it's better to just try and use that energy in your performance to enhance your performance, as opposed to distract you from your performance, right? And what tends to happen is when you are nervous, you start rushing through the thing, and that will not do you any favors. Rather, you take the scene slow, deliver it, in a very audible manner, so that they can hear everything and see everything you're doing. Then they will tell you if they want the pace a little bit quicker. But you'd rather have that. You'd rather have the casting director saying to you, I want the pace of this scene a little bit quicker, than give them one, that's too quick. And then they ask you to slow it down, and you're actually unable to do that, right? And this also has to do with preparation. When you've prepared, you can change the pace of what you're doing very easily, because you're prepared. That's what you do. So it is very important to stay prepared. I cannot emphasize that any more than I have. You just have to be very, very, very prepared. And yeah, I think that's all you really need to know about a casting. Those are the important things that you need to remember. These are the tools that you need to have in your bag every time you approach a casting. From the intro, it's very important, because they'll remember you from the intro and how you look and how the light looks. If you're wearing a hat, take the hat up. Don't upstage yourself with clothing. Wear clothing that is easily identifiable as the character that you're casting for, as close as possible. We don't all have soldier outfits at home, but wear whatever it is that you think the closest thing you have to being a soldier. Try. If you can get a hold of camouflage, hell, go ahead, wear that. But if you can't, wear the closest thing that makes you feel like a soldier. And also remember that when you're wearing your own clothes, try and wear them in a way that you do not feel like yourself. Mix them in a way you would never mix them, so that you can feel like the character. Yeah, and I think that's it. Remember your acting techniques. There's so many different ones, but I've just given you the 2 that are always easy to go to. That would be the close-up with the eye closest to the camera, and the double take. They always work like magic. They're easy to remember. They're always there as tools, and you don't have to overdo them, but you must use them, because they sometimes are the small little bits that make all the difference that you need. All right, my name is Mzu Ntantiso. Shout out to Jenna Bass, and I hope that this has been helpful. Thank you. Ciao. Maybe see you again another time.